Nephilim. Nepilim is mentioned in Genesis 2:1 Torah. Greater than, in those days, and afterwards, Nepilim was on earth when the sons of God were co-held with the human daughters and born children. They were renowned men of the old days. Nepilim is usually described as giants, or powerful creatures. Some commentators believe that Nephilim is the result of the marriage of Bani al-Wahim, sons of God, to humans. In some traditions, they are seen as semi-godly creatures or fallen creatures. In the Jewish and Christian traditions, they are sometimes associated with the children of the angels, such as the disobedient angels in the Book of Korach. The main differences. Conclusion. Nepilim is the mythical and evil creatures mentioned in Jewish sources, while Nepilim is mentioned in the Torah itself and is known as giants or half-gods that existed before the Noah storm. The Nepilims in the Torah have not been described directly as the enemies of human beings, but some verses and traditions are understood that their presence on the earth caused corruption, violence and chaos. Nephilim and their role in human history. 1. Nepilim in the Book of Genesis. The Genesis 2:1-4 stated that the sons of God Bani al-Wahim married human daughters and emerged from this marriage. Some commentators have interpreted the sons of God to fall to the cursed angels, while others associate them as the children of the son of Adam generation. Immediately after Nephilim, it was said that the earth was full of evil, and God decided to send the storm of Noah to clear the earth. This relationship shows that the presence of Nephilim was one of the causes of human corruption and destruction. 2. Nepilim after the storm of Noah. In Numbers 131, when the spies of the Israelites went to examine the land of Canaan, they reported the existence of giants who were children of Kakik, and called them Nepilim. The Israelites were afraid of these giants and felt they were, like locusts, in front of them. This indicates that Nepilim, or their children, existed after the storm and probably were the enemies of Israel. 3. Nepilim in Jewish and Christian narratives. In the Book of Kokok, the text that was among some Jewish and Christian groups, Nephilim was the result of the sin of the angels of disobedience who fell from the sky and had a relationship with human women. The book said that Nepilim was very violent and bloodthirsty, spreading corruption and destruction on the ground. The guardian angels, such as Michael and Gabriel, were commissioned to destroy Nepilim, and eventually these giants were destroyed in Noah's storm. Conclusion. Were Nephilim the enemy of human beings? The Torah does not directly say that Nepilim was the enemies of human beings, but their presence was associated with corruption, violence and sin. Subsequent reports, such as the story of the spies in the Book of the Numbers, are introduced as powerful and scary enemies. In Jewish and Christian traditions, they have been described as cruel, bloodthirsty and dangerous creatures that were eventually destroyed. In short, Nepilim may not have been directly with humans in the war, but their existence caused great problems for mankind and eventually disappeared. The story of the spies in the Book of Numbers in chapters 1 and 2 is from the Torah. This section tells the story of Moses' 12 spies to examine the promised land Canaan. Summary of spies in the Numbers book, Numbers 1-4. 1. Spies mission, Numbers 1:1-4. God commanded Moses to choose 12 men from the Israelites to examine the land of Canaan. These men were selected from each of the 12 Israeli tribes. The most famous of these were Joshua bin Nun and Caleb bin Yephuneh. Moses told them that the situation of the land, its people, cities, products and their defense capability. 2. View giants and disappointing reports, Numbers 1:1-4. The spies investigated in Canaan for 7 days and passed through areas such as Hebron and Ashkel Valley. From the land of Canaan, they brought a cluster of grapes that it was so big that 2 people had to carry it. 10 spies reported that the land was fertile, but its people are strong and warrior and their cities were very strong. They claimed to have seen giants, Nepilim or children, and said, greater than, we were like locusts. Numbers 131. The report frightened people and they began to complain. 1. Reaction of the Israeli Bani and divine punishment, Numbers 1:1-4. The Israelites were frustrated with the news and rebelled against Moses and Aaron. They said that I wish they were staying in Egypt or dying in the desert, and even suggested that the leadership would choose to return to Egypt. Joshua and Caleb, unlike other spies, believed that with the help of God they could conquer Canaan. God angered the people's unbelief and decided to punish them. All men over the age of 5, except Joshua and Caleb, will wander in the desert for up to 5 years and will never enter the promised land. The 10 spies who reported the disapproval were punished and died by a plague. 1. The defeat of the Israelites in the war, Numbers 1:1-4. After hearing the punishment, some Israelis decided to attack Canaan without God's permission. Moses warned them that they would not win without the presence of God, but they did not listen. As a result, the Israelis failed and pushed back by the Canaanites and the Canaanites. The messages of the spies. 1. Faith and fear. Joshua and Caleb believed that with the help of God they could win, but others failed for fear. 2. The results of the supreme leader, the 6-year-old wandering of the Israeli desert was a punishment for lack of confidence in God. 3. Victory is possible only by divine will. The arbitrary attack of the Bani Israel led to failure without God's command. Goliath, in Arabic, Goliath, is the name of a powerful Palestinian warrior and commander in Islamic, Jewish and Christian stories. He is the same character known in the Bible, the Torah and the Bible, as Goliath. The story of Golto in Islam and Judaism. According to Islamic sources in the Bible, Goliath was a giant warrior of the Palestinian people who participated in the battle with the Israelites. In this war, Prophet David, who was still young, was slaughtered with a rock, stoning, and killed him. After this victory, David became a hero and later became the king of the Israelites. Goliath in the Quran. In the Holy Quran, the story of Goliath in Surah Baqarah, verses 1-2. In these verses, the Israelites ask their prophet, which some commentators consider to be Ashmuel, a prophet, asking to set them a kingdom to fight in the cause of God. God chooses Talat as a commander, but the Israelites do not accept him at first. Finally, Talat prepares an army to fight Goliath and his army. In this war, Prophet David, as one of the Taliban corps, kills Goliath, and God gives the victory to the Israelites. The symbolic meaning of Goliath. Goliath is a symbol of oppression, pride, and deceptive power that fails against faith and will. His story shows that true power lies in faith and wisdom, not in the size or physical force. Was Goliath Nepilim? 1. There is no direct reference to the Goliath in the Bible. The Goliath is described in the first Sefer of Samuel 2, but there is only the tall and power, not its relationship with Nephilim. 2. Some believe he was of the Raphi generation. In the Bible, the Raphaims are a giant people who are sometimes associated with Nephilim, Deuteronomy 2:50. Some researchers are likely to be one of the survivors of the people. Who were the Raphaids? Raphaim was a group of ancient peoples described in the Hebrew Bible and some other texts as a tall and giant ethnicity. They lived in the areas of Canaan, Gilad, and Bashan and have been involved with the Bani Israeli people throughout history. Historic sources about Rabbi. 1. Genesis 2:1. Raphais are nominated as one of the tribes who were defeated by Qadar al-Amar, the king of Elam. 2. Delight 2:1-4. Raphi is described as giant, pointing out that they were called Emma in the land of Moab. 3. The Deuteronomy 2:50, the kingdom of the name of Ajuj, the king of Bashan, is said to have been the last survivor of the Raphaim. His bed was 2 cubits of length and 2 cubits of width, about 2 meters by 2.5 meters, indicating his huge size. The fate of Raphi. According to the Bible, the Raphais disappeared during various attacks. The Israelites, led by Moses and Joshua, defeated them and seized their land. The king of Oi, the last renowned survivor of Raphaim, was killed in a war by Moses, Deuteronomy 2:1-4. Some of the remnants of the Rephaims may have been merged among the Palestinian tribes. Some believe that warriors like Goliath were of their generation. The relationship of the Raphais with Nepilim. Some commentators believe that the Raphi and Nepilim are one, but the Bible distinguishes between the two groups. It is likely that the competent of the racial survivors that originated from Nepilim, but later known as a human people. Conclusion. There were giant ethnic Raphai who lived east of the Jordan River in the land of Canaan. The Israelites defeated them and took their land. With the death of the king of Oi, their remnants were destroyed, although some theories say that giants were like Goliath of their generation.